All right, guys. So it's 2021. The hype has died down on Pokemon cards. It's a new year. We just finished moving, so now we can film videos, and it's not as stressful. But yeah, so it's 2021, and we're trying to decide if you should invest in pieces of cardboard that have random monsters on them and have little black stamps on them like that.
Invest.
Invest emoji stonks. Stonks, invest, fire emoji. But, oh, the table is shaking. Let's just get into it. Really quick though, I just wanted to talk about it. There's a difference between collecting and investing. Investing purely for money is kind of iffy to me. I started out investing, lol. But as time and time went on, I just ended up collecting cards that I liked. And honestly, at the end of the day, when you invest from a collector's perspective, you do a lot better personally. You know more about the market, you know more about these things, you know more about nuance, you care enough, you put a lot of the time and the effort into it. So when I say the word invest, I actually kind of mean collecting in a way too. But if you're smart about it, you can collect and invest. We'll talk about it. I have charts, I have graphics, we're gonna get into it. I have a flow chart. Everyone loves statistics.
Well, actually, I'm kind of an investor, just saying. Like, have you seen this Weedle?
Oh, wow. Look at this Weedle. OC whitening, PSA 9 reverse. Wow. You're kind of an investor, right?
I know.
But let's get into it. Really quick, before we get the charts in, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll wait 1 second.
Alright, you're done? You're done?
Like, subscribe. My text box is empty, but anyways.
So you like and subscribe, right? Let's go.
Alright, so I have no statistics, but here's a flow chart. So, should you invest in Pokemon cards? Should I invest in Pokemon cards? Do you love Pokemon cards?
No.
No, I don't. So, no, you should probably not invest in Pokemon cards. I'm not trying to put down anyone who doesn't know anything about Pokemon cards, or if you're new, that's fine. If you have an intrinsic interest, I think it's really good, but if you're literally doing it solely for money, at the end of the day, it's just not going to work out. You're going to buy things, you're going to get impatient, you're not going to make the right moves. You have to put a lot of time and effort into it. It's really nuanced and there's a lot of intricate details. So you just got to be down to grind. You got to be down to put in the work. Like,
yeah, if you're not down, just buy stocks.
Buy stonk.
Stonk.
Yeah, go get a ETF, bro, and an index fund. But
I don't know what that is, but let's move on.
But anyways, so if you don't love Pokemon cards, you should just move on personally. But back, like I said, if you haven't some sort of interest, here you go. If you have any kind of interest whatsoever, here we are. We're at kind of right here. Do you love Pokemon cards? Kind of. So we'll move on to the next step. Do you have an interest in Pokemon for reasons other than monetary gain / hype? Artwork, nostalgia, any reason is valid.
No.
No, okay. Do you understand that Pokemon isn't a get-rich-quick scheme?
No.
Okay, then no, you shouldn't invest in Pokemon cards. And so, just to go down that train of thought, once again, the time period for the get-rich-quick scheme is done. The crazy hype where you could just buy everything and it can go up is pretty much done. It's not super done. There's still a lot of, like, momentum in certain cards, but you're only going to know about those cards if you're down and you have some sort of intrinsic interest in Pokemon.
Yeah.
So
let's go back to the checkpoint and go to, do you understand that Pokemon isn't a get-rich-quick scheme? So now we say yes.
Yes, now we understand it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Yes. And so, are you willing to put the time in the research to learn which cards are valuable and why?
No.
Okay, later, man. Dip out on this investment course. Basically, at the end of the day, if you want to be successful in investing and trading Pokemon cards and doing all the stuff, you got to be down. You literally just got to be down for the cause. You got to... Me and Van, we go to card stores like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, we go a lot.
And we're always researching cards, checking cards on eBay, seeing which ones go up and down. It literally is like the stock market in a weird way, which is fun.
It's like educated stocks.
Yeah, pretty much. So you have to put in time. Like, the only reason I have any of these cards... Oh, you can't see them. The only reason I have any of these cards is because I put in the time to look for these cards, find places to source out these cards, find out which cards are worth grading, understanding condition. It's a skill set, and it's almost like a weird job in its own way once you get to a certain level. So if you're not down, then you're not going to be very successful at it. And that's just the truth. So anyways, as we go back here, we backtrack from the no. You take back your no?
Yeah.
Are you willing to put the time and research to learn which cards are valuable and why?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so we go to yes. So if you guys answered, if you have any interest in Pokemon for reasons other than monetary gain / hype, like if you really like the cards, if you really like whatever reason, whatever weird attachment you have to Pokemon, if you're down to put in, like, if you like it enough and you're down to buy cards, then it takes you here. Can you be financially responsible enough? If all your assets depreciate to 0, will you still have your financial and mental stability?
Yes.
Yes. I forgot to put no. So
Watch,
there's no answer. Bruh.
Oh my God.
We're not gonna fix it. It's not gonna work right now.
Okay.
Okay, anyways, that's not working. So I guess you have to say yes to this question. But so basically what I'm trying to say here is at the end of the day, you have to drop money that you're down to lose. If you want to invest in Pokemon cards, then you probably will lose a lot of money. I've lost some money, kind of.
But you like all this stuff.
Yeah, so that's the point. It doesn't really matter. I don't think I've really lost that much. But when you do lose money, it hurts less. And it doesn't really affect you because you're like, oh, these cards are cool. I don't even mind having them anyways.
It's like stocks with intrinsic value. Did I say that right?
I don't know. Anyways. So you just gotta be down for L's. You gotta be down for L's, and the L's can't make you quit or give up, and the L's can't make you hate your life. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And also the L's can't make you go homeless, so just as long as you're in that position, then you're fine. Because I just don't want anyone to get caught up in the money-making schemes or being like, I can invest in Pokemon cards and pay for my kid's college. Because
It's not realistic.
it's not realistic. It's kind of dumb. I just had to say that. But it's totally possible if you make the right moves. Like, I honestly think I can buy a car from, like, everything I've sold to Pokemon cards. I might buy a car, but that's an aside. Anyways, so, if you can be financially responsible, just go yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and then also if you love Pokemon cards, you instantly jump to yes, you should invest in Pokemon cards. And when I say invest, it means collect, but also investing is collecting with a purpose and collecting while making financial moves?
Yeah.
Something along that line.
Investing is just like financial collecting.
It's collecting but being smart about it and making decisions that help you improve your collection while also improving your
Money.
your bank account. So you can do both. It honestly is very enjoyable and very rewarding. I will tell you that it's not easy. You have to be responsible. You have to do a lot of research. But if you think you can do that, then yes, you should invest. You should collect. That is my chart. And now we'll get on to the good stuff. Really quick before we get started though, I just want to say I'm not going to give any direct like you should invest in this card and you should invest in this card. I'm not really into that type of video. There's a lot of YouTubers who say, oh, top 10 cards you should invest in. And is it really an investment if a YouTuber has made it and then there's thousands and thousands of people who have watched it and already bought into the card and you're late to the party? Mainly what I'm trying to do is give you guys the tool so you guys can make your own decisions. And pretty much investing is just having educated guesses and trying to guess where trends and patterns go. So the only way to do that is doing it on your own. So I'm not going to give you guys any direct answers, but I'll give you my exact process.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, these are the 4 factors I think about when I buy cards, when I invest. We're going to say invest like this the entire time. But basically, the 4 factors I have right here: card appeal, bam, how good a card looks, the context of the card. Context is here, but like the context in which the card appears, because that makes it more appealing. Like if it comes in a cool box or something, or it comes from a cool set, you know. Buy-in price, how much you can get the card for. If you can get a card for dummy cheap, then why not get it? Context is the context of the market, context of which the card exists, like if it's printed now versus if it's out of print, stuff like that. And then potential for growth. Potential for growth is just comparing other cards similar to it and seeing if that card can reach that level, just stuff like that. So these are the 4 categories that I think about. I think all of them are equally important, but certain ones, none comes first and none comes last, pretty much. It's sometimes I buy a card because I'm like, oh, this card is really, really sick, so I literally buy it based off of card appeal. Other times I can get a card for dummy cheap, so I buy it for dummy cheap. Other times I buy it because it comes in a cool box or it has a cool context behind it. I don't necessarily think about potential for growth. Sometimes I compare cards. So I would say that one for me is the least important. But let's get into it really quick. So buy-in price is probably the most important factor for me personally. at the end of the day, if you can get $100 card for $10, why not buy it? You do have to take in all these factors overlap, like context. I'm gonna talk about context while we're talking about buy-in price, but you have to take into account context and see if the card's modern, if it's gonna be reprinted, stuff like that. But basic knowledge of the price of the card by just, you can look on eBay, you can look at TCG Player. If you're getting at least under half, typically it's worth it. Like if you can get a $100 card for like $50, why wouldn't you get it? I mean, I feel that's pretty straightforward, honestly. And then if you can buy a card that's gonna be a 10 and you can get it for the price of like a 7 along with grading fees, why not get it? So that's determining its market value and how under market value it is. You pretty much always want to buy under market value. If you look hard enough, you'll find deals. So the next factor you need to account for is the current state of the market, because I think that's really important and really telling of the situation of your card. Because if the market is overhyped and you're buying a card at market value, then guess what happens? Once it's done being hyped, it goes down. So if it's stable though, then you can just buy it and just hold on to it and it'll be stable. And if the market is sleepy, then you buy it and it'll go up.
Those aren't guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed, but just take into consideration where the market's at. You always just want to consider. If every YouTuber, which we're in right now, every YouTuber is like, wow, this card is worth $1,000. Bro, $1,000. $1,000. $1,000. Yes, that's where we're at. So I still think it's a little bit overhyped. It's not as crazy as it was a couple months ago, but there's still a lot of hype. So just be careful. So you want to buy really, really under market value. Once things stabilize, then you can start buying around near market value and you feel safer about it. And once you feel like no one cares about Pokemon, then you can just buy things and you're probably chilling. That's just my opinion. So that's probably the most important factor. I'll give you guys some examples too, really quick. I bought a Charizard actually for $400 at market price when it was crazy overhyped. And guess what? It wasn't over market. It was like I bought it for $400 and that was the average price of sales. But I got like a 7 and a 7 was going for like $1,000. And so I was like, oh, I can grade it super fast, make $500. And that's not the reality of the situation. I actually evened out, which is good. So, but yeah, just keep that in mind. So I bought way under market value for the condition that the card was in, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that helps you like even out if it goes down and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So you just have to account for losses. Always account for losses and always account for the market dipping. Unless you feel like the market is like chilling in that moment. That's where speculation comes in, but that's another thing. We'll talk about that later. So buy low. That's pretty much buy as low as you can. If the card price is super of getting cards under market value. I got this Charizard, $20, and they charged me for the regular Charizard. But the problem is this is a Cosmos Holo Charizard that came out of a specific box, so it makes it worth $40 actually, and the condition it's in. So $40 card, $20. Slow King, I got this for $30. I think this is like gonna be a 9, honestly, and a 9 goes for like $140. So grade it, $10. Bam. I got this one for $60. I think in a 9 or an 8 this goes for a decent amount. I forgot, but I know $60 is very undervalued for a first edition Slow King out of Neo. And I got this Cloyster for $12. Expedition Holo, really underpriced. So if you look hard enough, you'll find crazy deals. That's just the reality of the situation. So if you can buy a card for $1 and it's worth $100, bam.
Alright, so card appeal. So number 1 is how sick the artwork is, like full arts and stuff. Number 2 is how cool the Pokemon is. Stuff like Charizard, which is really popular too. And that also applies to the appeal. And then, would you have this card in your collection if it wasn't rare or valuable? And then, like, rarity, origins, like where it comes from, like if it's from like a box or something. And yeah.
Yeah, adds to the story of the card. So even though it's not directly part of the card, all the weird extra stuff surrounding the card adds to its own appeal in its own different way. So one example of really, really cool cards, full arts. Full arts are super sick. The art is really dope. They just look really, really nice. I think everyone loves the way full arts look, especially full art trainers. And then we got the full art alternate arts. And it's just something about the art really hits really, really hard. And it just seems like things that people would like to have in their collection, especially in minty condition. So I normally don't even grade modern cards, but I'm grading all of these cards. And we've been talking about waifus for a minute. Waifu full arts. We've been talking about them for like ever. And guess what? Some YouTuber had to go and blow up the full art market.
There's literally 2 on eBay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's 2 what?
Like, I saw only 2 Sabrina suggestions on eBay.
Yeah, I got this forever ago. And I remember looking it up. There was like 10 to 15 on eBay. Now there's only 2. And so, cool art and stuff that just hits hard really does affect cards, honestly. One type of card that can be cool in a different way, like first edition is obviously like more rare, but just having the stamp hits hard. It makes the card feel better. I also love the way these cards feel. E-reader cards, they just feel really, really good. So it's just an intrinsic thing. This is why I say you kind of have to love the hobby to get into it. You just have to really have a feel and an affinity towards certain cards, and typically that points you in the right direction. All right, next important factor is context. So context is just the state in which the card exists. It's just the reality of the situation for the card. So like, what do we got? We got Sabrina's suggestion right here. It is a waifu card. Very cool. High card appeal. Full art. But it's going to be reprinted. It has a chance to get reprinted. Very high chances, actually, because Team Up is still in the meta. And so there's going to be more of these. So it has a lot of instability. And it might have a lot of buyers, but there's going to be more supply. So compare that to, let me see, this Jolteon right here. Hollow Skyridge Jolteon. I think there's a bit of demand for this, especially people who get deeper into Pokemon and they like e-reader cards. They get into Skyridge and they understand that Skyridge is pretty scarce. So, I mean, you can even take it even further and talk about illustrator cards and trophy cards and all that stuff. But that's basic supply and demand. So that's just the context of the card. You have to know if it's going to be reprinted. You have to know how many there are, if it's super, super mass produced versus underproduced, and just know if people even want it to begin with. And then on top of context is the origins of the cards. We kind of went over that. This is from Skyridge. There's certain cards that come from certain boxes and stuff like that. And there's like vending series. There's like card, but you just have to understand where they came from and why. And I think that adds to the story. And there's like the Kanazawa box. So there's a lot behind the context of a card. And then
you also have to think about the scarcity of the box.
Yeah, the box itself is really important. The box that it comes from. And then, so yeah. And then we talked about the current state of the market and the card itself. And it's the card's place in the market. We talked about that early in buy-in price. But you just definitely do want to still account for that. So you want to account if the market's crazy, if it's hectic. Like I said, all this stuff overlaps. I just kind of want to like say it. And then speculation. Speculation is where you kind of just have to make your own guesses. This is the fun part of investing, I guess. Which is like me and Van speculated on waifus. Watch, let's show them the waifus. We already showed them the waifus, huh?
Yeah.
It's fine. Here's more waifus. But my theory for this card specifically is like when everyone starts collecting modern again, they love the art, the full arts. The full arts just hit super, super hard. And I was like, these seem really, really undervalued in a way. Because a lot of them are $10. And then these, I think these are super crazy. Watch, Twice Baked Jake is going to make a video about this. I think these are super, super crazy. I think they're undervalued. It's hard to say because I feel the market, they're going to make more. But these are just really, really cool. So for how cool they are, it just made sense for everything to go up sooner or later. And then Twice Baked Jake made a video, and now all these are like out of price range pretty much. But that's fine. So that's speculation. Right there is where you make your educated guess. And you take the context of the card and you think of patterns and you think of what people will want and you buy accordingly. So watch, one more example of that is I bought this Jolteon. See, this Jolteon, I don't necessarily like the art. I like the e-reader card. And so it has low card appeal to me. And the buy-in price, I got it for market value. I got it a little bit under market value pretty much. Because basically a 10 or a 9 goes for 300. I got this for 200. I'm pretty sure it'll be a 9. And so I'm getting it for like 275. I might get it for 210 if I decide to bulk it and they don't care. But so that's pretty much it. But I'm speculating on Skyridge because I think Skyridge is super, super sick set. and I just really like the set. It's a little bit scarce, definitely under the radar, definitely not under the radar, but under the radar at the same time. It's not base set, but it's not some like obscure hipster set. So yeah, I just have a lot of faith in these types of cards, so I bought into it at market value. But yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so the next one is potential for growth. So the first thing you want to do is compare and contrast similar cards. So cards that are like from similar eras and have like the same characteristics. So for this example, we're going to be using Armored Mewtwo and Sword and Shield Pikachu. So these were released around times where Pokemon wasn't as popular. They were in boxes and they sat on shelves. The thing is, the arts are really sick though. They're really good arts. So they have a lot of appeal. And so these both came in boxes and they sat, but now they went up now that they're like bought out and stuff. So the Armored Mewtwo, it was in a lunchbox, and the Pikachu was in a figure collection. So they were still in different boxes, but they have a lot of similar stats.
So right now, the PSA 10 of the Mewtwo, Mewtwo gained traction first. So the PSA 10 is going for, I think, 700, 800. And so you compare that to this Pikachu that we have here, it's going for 200 in a PSA 10. But by judging the Armored Mewtwo current price point, there's a possibility that this can project up higher because they almost have a lot of the same factors going for them. So that's how I compare cards. You can also use, I would say you can use Charizard as a weird figurehead card from certain sets. Like if you want to look at Skyridge cards, see where the Charizard card is, and then you can compare the Jolteon cards and see if you feel that they're underpriced. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at Crystal Charizard, you can say, oh, it's $100,000 or whatever. And then you look at Crystal Golem and it's $10. Obviously overpriced.
Yeah. They're not gonna match that Charizard, but they should come like somewhere there. Like
it's either the Charizard has to go down or the Golem has to go up. It's one or the other. So you just have to place your bets.
And they're not gonna meet or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So it's either one is overvalued or one is underpriced. So you kind of just have to guess from there. In basketball, if you guys know basketball, an example I used is I remember Luka cards were, let's say they go for 100. Trae Young was drafted in the same class. He's almost as good. I definitely wouldn't say as good, but he's really flashy too, and he hits pretty hard. And Trae Young's were going for like $10, while Luka's were going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So it only made sense that Trae Young's would go up, and they did.
Yep.
So yeah, and then after that, you have to think about, in terms of potential growth, think about risk and potential gain. You have to kind of just guess what you think you'll get from the card. That's why I say buy-in is really important, because if you buy really, really low, your potential gain starts out really, really high. Like, you already have potential gain if you buy way under market value. And so you're also getting rid of your risk, because you can buy the card and the worst thing that happens is you make money. The worst thing that happens is your card becomes worth a little bit less than its market value, but you still actually are gaining money. So.
You either gain money or break even.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if you're buying at full market value, this is where you have to think about things. So that's its own thing. I never really buy at full market value, but you just have to be down to lose money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that. Sorry, I'm like trying to learn all this finance talk, but it's not like really who I am. Also, if you guys feel, I don't know, I feel weird about this new format of like cutting everything. Maybe it's better. Tell me what you guys think really quick. It just makes it harder for me to express ideas and get in the zone. That's an aside. Let me know what you think about the comments below. But last thing I would say is opportunity cost is very, very important, because basically at the end of the day, if you have $50, you have to put $50 into something. And this is my take of why I don't invest in Modern necessarily, especially the newest Modern and Vivid Voltage and like Hidden Fates and all the stuff that we're in right now, is because basically you have $50 and you can let it, yes, it will go up. Modern will go up no matter what. Modern is the new vintage. But it'll take forever to go up with the way things are being printed right now. Mm-hmm. And so if you have $50, why would you put it into something that will take a lot of time to appreciate versus something that is pretty much guaranteed to appreciate and will probably appreciate faster as time goes on?
Yeah, I say this a lot, but if Modern becomes vintage, then vintage becomes more vintage.
Vintage becomes mega vintage.
Ultra vintage.
But yeah, like I said, this isn't like very a topic I really think about too much, but I definitely think it's important to think about. Yeah.
Alright, we tried to make this as short as we can, but there's so much nuance and so many things you can do to invest. There's like thousands of different things you could do. And so if you need help, go on our Discord or message us on Instagram. We get a lot of messages though. So yeah, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, guys. Tell me how you feel about this style, or if I should just go back to ranting. I feel more comfortable ranting and aside, but
Like and subscribe. Bye.